Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and we need to talk because Games Workshop is in over their heads and it's only getting worse. This video is sponsored by CMO Games. More on that later. So yeah, we need to talk because Games Workshop is in over their heads and it's only getting worse. So Games Workshop's factories have been running at basically 100% capacity for months now. Arguably, it's been over a year. And the problem is that a lot of it was because of the lead up for 10th edition, the new edition of Warhammer 40,000. So they had shifted a bunch of their capacity from their existing range into like this new big box set and all the models and everything inside, which makes perfect sense for the biggest launch of your company's history, the much awaited 10th edition and all the hype and everything behind it. But now here we are weeks, almost months out from the release of Leviathan. And right behind that, we had all of the new starter sets as well. So again, Games Workshop has been running at 100% capacity, just trying to make all of the new stuff. So in the meantime, the existing range, the stuff that people would want to buy if they're making like an actual army and wanting to play Warhammer, is dwindling and fast. So let's take a look over here. We're on the Space Marine tab of Warhammer 40,000, and we can see there's 88 items available for just generic Space Marines. And if we just scroll down here a bit, we'll see, okay, there's a few things for sale. So what am I complaining about? Well, the problem is once you get down here less than halfway, everything from the Games Workshop Space Marine range is completely sold out. Now, keep in mind that that 88 number is not actually like a real number, because when you see like certain items, they have multiple builds. So for instance, this is technically the same kit. The Stalker and the Hunter build the same thing. Same thing with the Land Speeders. So this one kit builds all three of these Storm Speeders. And it's the same way with like a few of the other vehicles as well. But if we scroll down here to the bottom and then we just take a second to go back through here and count. So here we are, and we have 55 of the items are sold out. So if we scroll back up here to the top, we can see that 55 of the 88 items are currently sold out. So even if you were excited about Warhammer, even if you wanted to start playing Warhammer, even if you wanted to specifically buy all your stuff from Games Workshop, it's just not an option. And I've had things on order for literally months. And I get that they're at full capacity. I get that Warhammer is more popular than ever. But the problem is they're not really doing anything about it because they're not catching up. It's only getting worse. So they can't just build a new factory overnight. Matter of fact, they just built a new factory. They just got a bunch of new machines. So we don't know what they have in the works to try to correct this problem long term. But in the meantime, the lack of supply to replenish the existing ranges has led us to like a massive shortage. And a lot of these kits, even if you jump online and try to look through third-party retailers or Amazon, eBay, they're basically just not available. You can't find them anywhere, which is very frustrating, especially if you're trying to play in a tournament or you've been after a unit or model for a while now. It's definitely an issue. And in my opinion, part of the problem is their release schedule. Not only did they just release the 10th edition new launch box, but then on the heels of that, they have the 3 new starter sets as well, 2 of which are completely loaded with plastic, much of which is the same stuff from Leviathan. And then on top of that, they've got all these seasons now for all their offshoot games like Warcry and Kill Team. They've got the new Epic game on the horizon. So it seems like they're constantly expanding. Every single week they have a bunch of new releases. But as long as they've shifted all of their capacity towards all this new stuff, they're never going to get caught up. And it seems like they're always just releasing something new. And it makes you wonder, well, what is that going to be like? Once it sells out initially, is it even going to be supported? How long is it going to be before I get the models that I want? And it's not just Space Marines are the problem. It is mostly Warhammer 40,000, but it's definitely not just Space Marines. If we just jump up to the 40K tab here and scroll on down, we'll pick Xenos armies. And let's take a look at Tyranids. Now we know there are some new items coming from Tyranids, so you would expect maybe some of those things would be out of stock or not for sale. But one of the things they announced for sale is new Gene Stealers. So the Gene Stealers are still available, the old ones. So it's not even like the problem is they've just taken down a bunch of stuff that's no longer available because they're making new stuff. They're literally completely sold out of Tyranids. So I guess if you're looking at this screen, you're like, all right, let's not exaggerate. You said literally. Well, here are the 3 brand new starter sets. Here are the Barb Gaunts, which came out last week, that are available in one of the starter sets, and then also Leviathan. And then we have the index cards and the Gene Stealers. After that, from our 40 total Tyranid items, we have the Ravener Brood available, and then literally everything else is sold out. I mean everything. If you were looking to play Tyranids and get into them, you can only get the items from the Leviathan box set at this time. Everything else is gone. So it's basically impossible to pick up a new Tyranid army. Now, of course, some FLGs have some stuff in stock. You can find plenty of stuff on the internet for sale or used stuff for sale. But I mean, for a billion-dollar company, for like this massive release that they've known has been coming for years, and they've been ramping up for and creating all this new product to sell the Leviathan boxes and the new starter sets and get everybody hyped up for 10th. I mean, how much sales are they actually missing out on because nothing is available? I mean, it has to be a massive amount. I know for myself, I have literally had items on order from Games Workshop for months or from friendly local game stores for months. Multiple times I've gotten a notification from the web store that something is back in stock, and it's literally sold out within minutes. And now I'm just looking at the USA page, so I can't tell you exactly what's going on in other countries. I don't frequent them nearly as much because, well, it doesn't really matter because I live in the USA. But whenever I've checked in the past, whenever I've looked at releases or something like that to see has it sold out, it's the same exact situation. And from what I understand from people around the world, and it actually makes perfect sense, part of the issue is they actually send a larger portion of their total supply to the United States because the margin is the highest here. So demand is the highest. We're like the biggest portion of their total sales. And then also the margins are the highest because they're not priced based on the exchange rate. They're just priced based on Games Workshop's own personal rate. So they make a ton more money when they ship stuff across the ocean and then sell it in the United States. So they tend to ship more than like the 50% that we consume of their relative supply. So we end up getting 75% of the supply, which means they sell out even faster in the UK. Things aren't available. They sell out even faster in Europe. Things aren't available. And then in the United States, you know, obviously we see here that everything is selling out as well. Now, keep in mind, a couple of these items, like I said, that say temporarily out of stock, this Lictor model, I expect to completely go away. The old Tyranid Hormigaunt sprue, I expect to completely go away. So some of these items probably should say no longer available, but we don't even know when the new Tyranid stuff is coming out. So that means that if they don't replace some of this stuff before the new stuff comes out, it could literally be weeks, months. I mean, who knows? And I'm not really trying to bust Games Workshop's chops on this one. I think it's great for them as a business that they're constantly selling out and the game is more popular than ever. It's great for me as a player and somebody that loves Warhammer that there's all these cool releases and there's more hype than ever and there's more players and there's more interest. That's all great. So I'm definitely not complaining about that. But my issue is just imagine trying to pick something up. Say you want to go play into a tournament, or say you're looking forward to completing an army or painting some stuff up. It's just not a viable option at this point in time. And Games Workshop has gone out of their way over the last couple of years to make sure that they're not storing anything. So they basically count on all of the like retail locations to store the product to make up for, you know, basically like the just-in-time inventory system that they've been all about. Well, the problem is now we're coming up on like multiple years since everything that went down and them shutting down their factory and everything, of stores trying to like refill their supply and just not getting orders filled or having weeks, months, you know, even in some cases not being able to get supply at all. Now a quick message from today's sponsor. CMO Games has been selling Games Workshop products online for over 20 years. They carry the full line of Games Workshop products, including Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, Necromunda, Blood Bowl, paint tools, and more. Almost all Games Workshop products are priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games takes pre-orders for most Games Workshop products released at their earliest date possible. 12:01 a.m. on Saturday, they go live. Most of these pre-order products are also priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games offer free shipping in the US 48 with an order of $50 or more. Their customer service is top-notch and they ship most orders within 24 hours. Visit CMOGames.com using the affiliate link in the description and let them know that you heard about CMO Games from Warhammer Man. Now back to the video. So we basically ended up in this situation where Games Workshop is counting on local retail stores and like all the supply everywhere else, but that supply has dried up because it's been so long since Games Workshop has been caught up to where they could replenish it. And now in the meantime, they're flooding the space with brand new releases every single week. Massive release of 10th edition. And we know at this point in time, we're less than a year out from the new release for Age of Sigmar. So again, there's going to be a massive ramp up for that. They're going to have weeks or months realistically of making new box sets for that. And that's going to take up a ton of their production. And I just don't see this cycle ending anytime soon. So I'm not sure what Games Workshop has in the mix. And if you go through here and look at some of the other factions, if you check out some of the other games, It might not be as bad as these two. Obviously, Space Marines are the most popular for any of Games Workshop's products, and then Tyranids are in the new box set, so there's tons of new Tyranid players or new Tyranid interest. So, of course, these are two of the worst. So the fact of the matter is, basically, at this point in time, something needs to change, and it needs to change quick. And I don't know if Games Workshop has another factory that they're planning on picking up or opening or working on currently. I don't know if they've got some more machines incoming, so they're going to be able to pump out more plastic than ever before. But whatever they're doing, whatever they've been doing, it is not working because they just cannot keep up. They're only getting further behind. They're only getting further underwater, and their release schedule doesn't appear to be slowing. And now we know that there's going to be a new Kill Team season about to kick off, a new Warcry season about to kick off. Both of those will have a brand new big starter box. They've just announced the new version of Epic, which is about to kick off as well. So that's going to need a new starter box and support. And I don't know how many months that's going to take to roll out all that stuff. Just the first installment of the season, not to mention the new Epic. But then right after that, we're going to have a brand new Age of Sigmar edition as well. So I don't know what Games Workshop is doing behind the scenes to correct this issue. I don't know what Games Workshop could possibly do to increase production over like the 100% capacity they've been running at. But they definitely need to do something because the problem is only getting worse. And what is the point of having all this demand, all this excitement, if you literally don't have products to sell people? So yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'm sure a lot of you have felt the frustration over the last few months or a few years, depending on how long you've been in the hobby. But at this point in time, it is getting absolutely ridiculous. I think Games Workshop needs to take a little time, sit down, and not release any new products until they can get some of their range caught up. I mean, it's great that they are always coming out with new models, new products, new stuff to sell us. But the fact of the matter is, we can't even get the stuff that we need to play their biggest, most popular game. We can't complete our armies. We can't buy the models that we want to paint or play with. So what is the point of putting out new ones if we can't even get the ones that we've been waiting on for months or years? But you guys let me know. I'm sure you felt some of this frustration as well. Always like to hear back from you guys in the comments. What do you think Games Workshop needs to do? Should they slow down their release schedule and try to get caught up on their backlog? Should they just keep doing what they're doing and just wait for people to get burnt out? Or do you have some other solution? Let me know down below. Always appreciate the feedback. Nice to hear back from the community. But man, I gotta say, this has been so frustrating. And it seems like it's only getting worse. No, it's not even that it seems like it. It is definitely getting worse. So special thanks to CMO Games for sponsoring the video. Check them out if you're having trouble getting some of these items. Save 15%, link in the description. That's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man. And I'm frustrated by Games Workshop. They need to do more. And I'm out of here.